Welcome to a new Harry's Garage video, and this one is about the Arctic Rolls again. This is part 3 of the sort of restoration. It's not really a full restoration, it's really a repaint on my Rolls Royce Silver Shadow 1970 edition. And it's back and it's very white. And you're probably saying, well, it doesn't look very finished to me. No, it's not finished, but it's had all the painting has been done. And we're now just the last bits of trim to go on, etc. And it's about to go somewhere else to have all that put back on it, bumpers, etc. But I asked for it to be returned here because there's a few jobs I want to do. Anyway, let's go and have a closer look at it, see what's been going on. I can't believe the last report I did on this car was in June. And it's been quite a journey then. I did actually include a little clip. I did a garage roundup in August and we did a report on it in there where it was just about to get primed. But I'm going to pretend that didn't happen and we're just going to do from June. So what happened since June was it was down at Motor Fix and Darren had done all the work on it, all the metal work, and then it went over to the Smart Repair Centre just across the yard from where all the metal work happened to have the paint applied. And well, it was quite a lot more than that, as you can see. And look at it, I can't get over how smart it now looks. So yeah, we had all that metal work done, and as you can see here, it is very white, and I have stone chip here. It is proper solid. I am chuffed to bits the way this front corner looks, because it was awful when I took it into them. All this new valance along here, that did not exist at all, this area of the wing. There's some, bumper goes on here, etc. But my goodness, it looks very different. Now, I'm going to say from the outset, this was done on an agreed figure. Well, I took it down to them. This is not a full respray right across the whole car. This was just to get rid of the very ugly rust on this car on the extremities, because as explained in that part 2, it's actually very solid underneath. And I didn't want to do a full sort of restoration on it. This will remain the Arctic Rolls, a £4,000 Rolls Royce off eBay that took me to the Arctic and back. I wanted this car to have all the patina that comes with a 50-year-old Rolls Royce and that's had a life. Be it as a wedding car or on crazy trips. So we have not sprayed the bonnet. I'm going to T-cut that back and it will blend in better. And all the trim is yet to be applied. So I've got a load of work to do. Obviously that hasn't done there. Down here, look at this, a real wing, a real arch. And this is all being repaired. Yes, there is overspray. I'm going to spray all that back to black because there are actually some liners to go in the wing there as well. So what I've been doing over the last few weeks is dropping by the Smart Repair Centre just to see the work in progress as they've been getting on. And I'm just going to drop in a clip now where George, who's a young lad down there, who did all the filler work after all the metal work to get it prepped for primer. And he'll take us through what had to be done before the car got primed. Ah. Hi. Hello, George. Hi. You've been working on this, the Shad, haven't you?
Oh yeah, a few weeks now, getting on.
Well, it's a big car, isn't it? So yeah, there's plenty of bodywork to have a go at. I can't believe the journey this car's gone through. Obviously done all the metal work and now you're doing the paint, and I dropped in recently, you were just sort of finishing.
About a week ago or so.
Yeah, it was. And it's looking so good now, because that's, when I was here, you're just doing the first bit of filler and just building out, and now it's ready to paint, isn't it? That's what its next job.
Well, ready to prime.
Ready to prime, yeah, indeed. So what have you done down here? Because I know this is a tricky corner, isn't it?
Well, down here, obviously this was absolutely stoved in.
Yeah.
It took about 3 or 4 skims to get it like this.
That's good.
Yeah, it was pretty tricky.
That's really good. I mean, that's
another hard thing is when these inside recesses here.
Yeah.
To get it, you got to get it literally perfect. Otherwise, you'll notice it when you prime it. So you got to get that right.
Well, we were almost not going to take the trim off, and I thought, this is mad. We have to
there's
build up.
there's rust through here. This isn't the best example. The best example of the rust would be on this one. We're going to fill over each individual one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apart from these bits here, they got better towards towards the front. Really.
I suppose, yeah, it's debris coming up here and just sitting here, isn't it? I don't know.
Must have been the worst of it when you were in the Arctic.
It was the Arctic. That was the mistake. Yeah, taking to the Arctic. That was very salty roads. And this sill was all right. So
this is the good one.
This is not too bad. This side, isn't it? But I can't get over it, so I just swing around that. How sharp that is. And it was awful around here. That's all new metal there, wasn't it? I think that was a new panel.
Yeah, that was a brand new panel, all the way from here. No, I think it was here.
Really.
All the way to here, with the join going through here, and you get fiberglass over the top so it doesn't rust, and then you put your layers of filler over the top to smooth that off.
And you've done this by hand, haven't you? You've sanded this
down
by
purely
hand.
by hand and touch. This is the side that had a lot more welding done to it.
Right. Oh yeah.
This whole metal sill been put in, new one.
Yeah.
And it stops about there, and it finishes about there. So you got a lot. You got a lot there, and there's more rust here. This is quite bad for it on this side.
Was it?
And then where is it? There was the join. The join was down here.
Oh, that's right.
That's why you can see a tiny bit of fiberglass coming through there because of the rust stoppage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bit I can never get over this car. How tight the shut lines.
Yeah, they are. They are really tight. So you got to make sure you get everything through there.
You're saying on the bottom of the sill, isn't it? On the bottom of the door. Look at it. Well, that's Audi. That's what new Audi sort of pride themselves on shut lines. And here we are in 1970. We must be 50 years old. They did not build them well back in the day.
Quality of the metal's a lot better on these anyway.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, they only started rusting however long ago.
Well, yeah, after a trip to the Arctic. You'll just a quick look at the front actually while we're here. I am slowing them up. There's a man outside ready with a spray gun, isn't he, to come in here.
He's primed and ready.
He's all ready. He said, "Have you finished?" And yeah, that looks so smart. So what have you done at the front here? What have you had to do here?
Well, at the front it wasn't that bad because it's quite all symmetrical, smooth shapes.
Yeah.
But the hardest bit about the front would be these recesses in here because you've got to get the curve pretty much like factory setting curve, and you got to do it by hand. So at the same time, you're trying to copy something that's not there and make it up. And also, where it was welded, the joins are slightly uneven, so you've got to make sure it stays level throughout here. Otherwise, when you prime it, you're going to see a huge dip, and you don't want that.
No. That is mega. Because I'm trying to think, most cars don't have a sort of valley like this, do they? They're normally a shut line, a sharp outside.
These days they have swage lines that more complement the aerodynamics of the when you're driving and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a sharper line. God, so
that's a big car, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly is.
I
think it's going to look ace after this. I can't get over it actually. I know it's been a bit of a journey.
We bought for 4.1, didn't you?
4,200 I think I bought this. This is probably going to cost the same again, but I just think it's worth it for all the adventures it's had.
Yes, well it's definitely got some story behind it now.
Yeah, it might have another one. Oh yes, it was. Yeah, the Arctic sticker. I put on crooked, it really winds me up.
Yeah, you've got the moose here as well.
Yeah, I've got a moose. Yeah, I've got a pack of moose
I've heard
stickers.
You want to save that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like my mooses. No, it was a hell of an adventure, it really was. I was very glad I was in the car. My dear wife complained bitterly because it was at -30 getting out of the car and filming. It was a bit tricky. Anyway, George, that's fantastic. And
no worries.
In a few more days, so it gets primed. Do you have to rub it down again?
After you rub it down, after you rub the primer down, with a 500 soft, you want to then scotch all the remaining bits that you haven't, obviously, that are underneath that are already shiny. Everything you see here has been roughed up, so then the primer's going to stick to it.
Yeah.
But what you want to do is just smooth it all down, guide coat it as well, and make sure there's nothing that you haven't missed. Hopefully I haven't missed anything, but obviously the boys will.
Yeah. You're on holiday, aren't you? You're going to miss it.
Yeah, I'll be on holiday.
What a go. Well, will it take more than a week, or will it be? I think you know what? Be out next week.
Yeah, I think it could be, to be honest.
Yeah.
See how busy we are, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have been quite busy considering the times, actually.
Fantastic. I'm really chuffed with it, and it's the final bit, like the icing on the cake, about to go on it.
Yeah.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
So after all that prep, the car got primed and it went a sort of grey colour underneath there. And then there's still more work to be done before the final paint gets applied. A lot of rubbing down. And it was actually at that stage where they decided, I know we discussed with George that the moose heads that were there, they decided to go because we were going to spray a little bit further up here. So there was a bit more prep done, more primer was applied, and it then went into paint as you see it here. Lots and lots of processes to get to this final state. The little bits of trim have been applied, so this has been applied by the workshop because that was with them, but there's no end. Obviously the bumper has got to go on here. If you look down here, there's a trim here which hasn't gone on. That's just dirt, but that's all so I can spray into those holes to protect the inner of the sill. And then there's a piece that goes over there that covers the jacking point. So no end of work. Now what I've got to decide though is how far to go. This was a fixed price deal. I agreed a fixed price before we started, and that was £5,000 plus VAT is what I spent on this car, and that has taken us to this stage. And we decided to work on the water point of that point there. And I had decided, if you just have a look here, on the door, the doors are aluminium, and I was going to leave these in. I'm not sure if I am now, because they're going to wind me up, but that was my choice, just to add to that sort of slightly scabby nature, because I don't want to over-restore this car. If you look in here, again, we've got some bits to put in there, that's all good. But you look at the leather interior, it always had a little tear in the seat, etc. But they're supremely comfortable, and I don't see that tear when I'm sitting in it, so all I see is the Rolls Royce emblem at the front. So, yeah, there's a bit more to be done. Round here, this is another discussion point, and this one I'm actually happy with, and that is this sort of repair along the bottom of the windscreen and up here. It is perfectly solid, this car. This is just excess paint just coming off the sort of red oxide underneath the car. There is no rust whatsoever, and all this popped off when we did that foolish thing of, say, I tell you what we'll do, we'll wash the car in minus 20 degrees centigrade, or was it 25, I can't remember. And as you were spraying it, even though it was a hot water coming out of the lance, it was freezing on the car and turning it like pebble dash, this ice. And it went under the paint and it got a bit upset. But if you carry on round, this is all done here as well. All new valance here. I think it looks super smart. And then these are the bits I've got to do next. So these are the trim. I thought I'm going to polish these up before they get put back on. They're the sort of vents at the front. And then these are the inner arch protections. So it's got these inner arch protectors. I'm going to clean all those up, but I do want to just protect as much as I can. Now I use this built hammer. So it's Dynex S50. So that's a sort of extreme duty anti-corrosion wax. That's a sort of black wax that you see. And I also have this clear film anti-corrosion wax, and that's the one I'm going to inject into those holes inside the sill. I should also say that the whole car, all the metalwork that Darren did on the car was actually protected with black anti-chip, anti-corrosion, primed, and then anti-corrosion went on it. So it's not as though it hasn't been protected, but I just, for my sake, I just want to have a black inner arch underneath those inner sill linings. But yeah, that brings you sort of up to date, I think, with the Rolls Royce. I went down to the spray shop when they're about to apply this white colour, and it didn't have a rad on it or anything. I do sort of like the hot rod look of this, but I am going to put all the chrome back on, I think, because there's an elegance to the old Rolls Royce, and I don't want to turn it without the such distinctive, the hubcaps you get on a Rolls Royce. I think they need to go back on. But I'm really rather chuffed with it, because the metalworkers, I know that this is solid, absolutely solid, this car. There is no rust, no sort of structural rust on it anywhere. It has this slightly tatty appearance. It's not going to win any concours, but it's my Rolls Royce and it's my Arctic Rolls and it's a family favourite. So what happens next, once I've done all my bits and tidied everything up, is then going off to, there's a local Rolls Royce specialist here who did the initial strip down of the car. He's going to bolt all the final bits on and then I get it back and get to use it. So there you go. That brings you up to date with what's been happening on the Rolls Royce Silver Shadow. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, well, keep watching, keep subscribing, more videos coming along very soon.